I'm here with Helen Degeling, Cobalt Blue Project Acquisition Manager. We're going to talk about waste streams today. Please, can you just give an introduction to the project stream?
Absolutely. Thanks, Joel. The Waste Streams project with Cobalt Blue looks at the potential to apply Cobalt Blue's patented technology developed at the Broken Hill project to other accumulations of pyrite, of metal-bearing pyrite, whether it's around Australia or around the world. And one of the places that we see a really great opportunity for that is in mine tailings of big copper or big nickel mines, where the pyrite as a waste mineral has been deported to the tailings dams, and it's there, it's above ground, it's already crushed, but actually contains a lot of things like cobalt, like nickel, like copper, and other metals that are really important for the energy transition, but sitting there creating environmental problems. So there's a great opportunity for us to go in and reprocess those big accumulations of metal-bearing pyrite.
So what actually makes a good waste streams project?
I think a good waste streams project is going to be one that, first of all, has the right mineralogy. You know, we need that pyrite to be able to apply the Cobalt Blue process, but also one where we can work with an existing partner, somebody who already owns the mine or the mine site. Perhaps it's been closed, but it's not yet fully abandoned. So there's power and infrastructure still connected. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We're not starting from scratch. And we can come in and help rescue those critical minerals, basically, that have been thrown out with the trash.
So this technology is our own intellectual property. What is Cobalt Blue's advantage over other companies?
Because the Broken Hill Cobalt project is a cobalt in pyrite deposit, pyrite is one of those minerals that most other people walk away from. It's too difficult, but we've done those hard yards. We've developed our flow sheet specifically to deal with pyrite. At another mine, whether it's a copper mine or a nickel mine, the companies have tended to go for the higher value sulfides such as chalcopyrite, pentlandite, other things, and the pyrite has ended up in the waste. It's been selected out of the concentrate, basically, that the company is chasing. So our advantage is that we can take this really unloved problem child within the mining industry and turn it into something valuable. And one of our byproducts is elemental sulfur. So essentially in reprocessing that mine waste to get metal value out, we're also removing the potential for that site to generate acid and form acid mine drainage. So it's kind of a win-win with creating value and fixing environmental problems or alleviating environmental liability at the same time.
That's very interesting. So there's projects all around the world, or potential for projects all around the world. What would be a benefit for a owner of one of these waste sites to collaborate with Cobalt Blue?
Benefits are twofold, or even more than that, really. But the two main benefits are, number one, being more efficient with what we're digging up, getting value out of something that otherwise would be thrown away. And then and we're generating less waste, we're reducing the waste volume at a particular site, and we're reducing the company's environmental liability. So most jurisdictions around the world, companies have to pay an environmental bond with the host government or the local government to cover risk, essentially, for management of that tailings facility or the overall site. So by taking away the sulfur, we have the potential to significantly reduce environmental liability at the same time as generating a cash flow.
Well, on that environmental liability and getting a bit more specific, we have an agreement with Hud Bay and their Flin Flon asset in Canada.
Yeah.
Now, that project doesn't have cobalt. Why are we there?
Well, the environmental liabilities for some of these really big, long-lived mine sites are so huge that the interest really is in bringing down the amount of money that is tied up in that environmental bond. So a lot of the liability is calculated based on the danger to the environment, which comes in large part from acid formed from the breakdown of sulfide minerals in those tailings dams when they're exposed at surface, air, water, bacteria. By bringing down that environmental liability, even if we generate some income from, there is still copper, there's zinc, there's silver at the Flin Flon mine tailings site. We can, just because we're cobalt blue doesn't mean we can't also extract those other metals as well. We're clever, our flow sheet is pretty flexible that way. So being able to do that, and the company's focus is more on the elemental sulfur part of our flow sheet. And we still benefit as a company from other metal extraction.
And speaking of that, how do we actually commercialize this type of project? Are we selling our IP? Are we going there to build a plant? How are we going to make revenue out of this?
I don't think we have any one black box solution or answer to that question. Every deposit is going to be different. Every jurisdiction where these promising sites or these opportunities are going to be is going to be different. And the wants and needs of our partner companies, our collaborators in these sites, are also going to be different. So we're not going to take a black box approach to this. We will be working with the companies to find a mutually beneficial solution, and it will most likely be different for every site.
Are we targeting specific geographies around the world? Are we looking at just Australia? Obviously, we have this relationship in Canada. Where exactly are we looking around the world for these type of opportunities?
We do have a global remit for this project. Domestically, we are looking at, there's great opportunities right here in Australia. And there's opportunity to develop projects that can feed into the existing or the infrastructure that we're building at Kwinana to generate additional feed for our future sulfate plant there. But we'd really like to contribute globally to the allied supply chain of battery metals. So I recently returned from Europe, from a road trip in Europe, where I was talking to potential investors, potential collaborators, government agencies about the potential for Cobalt Blue to assist in domestic production of battery metals in Europe, which would then satisfy a lot of the criteria under the Critical Raw Materials Act. Similarly, we would look at possibilities or opportunities in North America, again under the Inflation Reduction Act. We haven't said no to any particular jurisdiction, but we are a company that prides ourselves on our high ESG standards. So we will be looking at jurisdictions that meet those criteria, where we can continue to uphold our good reputation and our good standards.
Well, you're a very busy woman running around the world trying to find these projects. Looks like fantastic opportunities for us. Thank you for taking the time.
No problem. Thanks, John.